We're live. I'm live right now. NCAA Tournament Picks Podcast. So what this is going to be is I'm going to run through the slate of games in chronological order, and I'm going to give my pick on the spread, the over-under. Some of these are going to have a lot of analysis behind it. Some of these are just going to be funny and vibes picks. So let's just go through it. Let's get right into it. Short podcast today. Let's do this thing. Right now, on the screen here, we got Creighton versus Louisville. Louisville minus 2.5, over under 145.5 at Rupp Arena. I like Louisville over Creighton in this game. Louisville this season has very, very, very similar vibes to that 2017 South Carolina team. Louisville underseeded, South Carolina maybe not as much, but given that home court advantage in that spot, going against one of the top teams in the sport, South Carolina did it, going against Duke in a home game in Greenville, South Carolina. Louisville going to be doing it in Rupp Arena in Lexington. I don't think people realize how much that matters, that Creighton and potentially Auburn are having to play road games in this spot. Give me Louisville minus 2.5 here. I also think guard play wins in March, and we talked about this with Ben. I lean towards Chucky Hepburn and Terrence Edwards, and Rain Smith is supposed to be back for this one. I believe in that more than I do Stephen Ashworth or Neal on Creighton. So Ryan Kalkbrenner is great. I think that's going to be a problem for Louisville, stopping their big man in Creighton, but I don't think it's the end-all, be-all, and I'm not betting on big men in March. I'm betting on guards. Give me Louisville minus 2.5 in that game. High Point versus Purdue. I like High Point. I got High Point at plus 8.5 and the money line at over 300. I think High Point wins this game outright. I think this is an upset spot here. I think Kezijifa, Bobby Pettiford, and this High Point team with the Huss Bus, Allen Huss, and these guys get it done over Purdue. I think Purdue, it's more of a look at what's been going on with this team lately, and this team just doesn't strike any inspiring basketball. Braden Smith is unbelievable. Braden Smith is an All-American. Braden Smith has been awesome this season. But outside of Braden Smith, I'm not inspired by what I've seen from this Purdue team all season long. They're trending in the wrong direction, in my opinion. And this High Point team, they're so well coached. They can knock down the three ball. They can beat you in multiple ways. And they're very talented. High Point is a team that they're not lacking in NIL funds. They're getting real talent in the door. They've had guys who have been at top programs coming in here. And so High Point, their roster costs over $1 million in the freaking Big South. This team is not a joke. This team isn't your average mid-major. Give me High Point with the points there and sprinkle the money line in there as well. I also don't hate the over in this game. I think there's going to be a ton of points, lack of defense in this spot. Montana, Wisconsin. Games in Denver. I guess that benefits Montana with the altitude and everything. Wisconsin's a 16.5 point favorite, over under 151.5 in this game. I lean with the over just because Wisconsin's going to put up a ton of points in this game, and I think Wisconsin gets to a point where they're up 12 and it's kind of garbage time, kind of like what we saw from North Carolina, San Diego State, where they're just putting up points and neither team is really locked in defensively at the end because they both know Wisconsin's got this game in the bag. I like the over. I'd probably stay away from the spread in this game as well. Let's move on. SIU Edwardsville versus Houston. Houston minus 28.5, over under 126.5. I don't like either play here. I would lean towards Houston minus 28.5. This Houston program, this Houston team, every Kelvin Sampson coach team is designed to absolutely destroy these 16 seeds. Let's take a quick water break. All right, let's get back into it. Houston minus 28.5 would be the play there. Gonna probably stay away. Alabama State versus Auburn. Auburn minus 31.5, total at 150.5 in this game. I watched that St. Francis versus Alabama State game. Very lucky ending for Alabama State. Not the best basketball, at the same time, maybe the best 16 seed basketball I've ever seen in the first four in Dayton at the same time. Very, very weird stuff. I try to stay away from these very, very large spreads. I actually lean with Alabama State maybe, but I think there's a chance that Auburn comes out with a point to prove and they try to come out and win like 105-60 in this game. probably stay away. It's never fun betting in these 116 games. Clemson versus McNeese. Clemson. Will Wade went on Jeff Goodman's podcast at the Field of 68 after they won the Southland Championship, and he said, the things I'm most concerned about going into a matchup with a team is a team like Gonzaga last year, where they have bigs inside who can play it, who they can play through, and then also having guards who don't turn over the ball. And that's Clemson. That's Clemson to a T. Chase Hunter is as reliable as it comes. He's been there. He's done that. They were in the Elite Eight last season. On top of that, they have bigs they play through in Victor Locken and Ian Shefflin, who are dynamic, who are very, very, very good. And McNeese is an undersized team that's not going to have an answer for those guys. I like Clemson to win big here. I think Clemson handles McNeese, and I think Clemson wins this game no problem. Give me Clemson with the points here, -7.5. BYU versus VCU. I've done a ton of previews on this game. BYU -2.5 against Virginia Commonwealth in Denver, Colorado. And that's going to be the difference in this game is BYU having a home court advantage. It's going to be 80% blue in that building. And on top of that, they're also going to have the altitude advantage. BYU with the rest advantage as well. And BYU with their depth is going to force VCU into situations that their guys are just going to be tired in this game. BYU is going to be able to run them out of the gym, in my opinion, and put them into a point where VCU is just going to be too exhausted to keep up with BYU's offense and their depth, and BYU can throw so many different things at you because people are going to look at this BYU team and go, they just are a bunch of white guys that shoot a bunch of three-point shots, and halfway true. The other problem is people don't realize is BYU can attack through the paint, and also BYU, this is the first time in my lifetime where BYU has had lockdown defenders on this team. I think Mawit Mag puts Max Shulga in a tough spot. Even if Mawit Mag doesn't, Trey Stewart can come off the bench and put Max Shulga and put him through hell in this game. I like BYU -2.5 in this game. I think the Cougars get it done. I like them a lot, actually. And VCU, I think this has been the most contentious pick right here, VCU BYU, because I think I'm seeing 50-50 on both sides, in my opinion. And I think people who are picking BYU to win this game are picking BYU to go to the Elite Eight. Let's move on. Georgia, Gonzaga. Gonzaga now down to -5.5 in this game, over under 150.5. Georgia. The dogs are barking. This Georgia team is designed to go against Gonzaga. I think everybody and their mother is picking Gonzaga in this game. The spread is off because of the KenPom numbers, in my opinion. The KenPom numbers are inflated because Gonzaga gets to play a lot of easier opponents in the WCC. They can put up points, don't get me wrong, but they're not going against the size and athleticism of a Georgia team. And we saw what happened in non-conference when Gonzaga had to face teams like that. And so I think Ace Newell and Blue Cane are going to dominate in this game. I think Blue Cane could be a March Madness character in this point. Shout out Mark in Philly. He also tweeted that as well. Georgia +5.5 here is the play. I also like Georgia money line as well. If you're doing a fun little money line parlay, I think Georgia money line is definitely a fun play to have in there as well. Give me the dogs in that spot. Speaking of the dogs, the Wofford Terriers versus Tennessee in Rupp Arena. Tennessee -18.5, over under 133.5. I don't necessarily have too much of a side here on this one. Like I said, these big spreads are a little trickier, a little tougher to play. Lean Wofford, but I don't know. You just never know. This Wofford team, they weren't great in the SoCon. They got hot in the SoCon tournament, and maybe that carries into this game a little bit. Tennessee's defense, I think, might swarm them a little too much. When I'm really thinking about it, I'd probably lean Tennessee, to be honest. I don't know. I wouldn't take a side in this one. Arkansas, Kansas. Kansas -4.5, over under 145.5. This is Arkansas. And I'm going to tell you why. Kansas can't shoot the ball. Kansas cannot shoot the ball to save their lives. Arkansas, are they this, world beater from three and whatnot? No. But Kansas physically can't shoot the ball. Zeke Mayo is their only hope. Rylan Griffin has been an absolute dud this season for them from Alabama. AJ Storr, he's been okay, but he's not much of a three-point threat. Zeke Mayo is supposed to be that three-point threat. If he's not 100% on in that game, they have no threat beyond 10 feet in this game. Arkansas is going to win this game. Arkansas with the points, Arkansas with the spread. Calipari gets it done over Bill Self. And I think after this game, if Arkansas does take down Kansas, I think we start seeing a lot of the Bill self-retirement rumors after this game. And there's little inklings and whatnot. I don't think Bill self-retires. I think he goes at least one more year without Hunter Dickinson and goes, okay, let's do this NIL thing, but let's not get into bed with Hunter Dickinson. And I think Kansas comes back next year, and they're freaking good. So, but I don't think Bill self-retires or anything like that. I think those rumors start swirling a little bit. I think they have no credence to them, by the way. Let's move on. Yale, Texas A&M. A&M minus 7.5, over under 138.5. I like Yale with the points here. It's almost a weird thing where you go, I think I almost like Yale money line or A&M in a blowout, where Yale, if they're going to win this game, they're going to have to do it through Bang Bang's defense on Wade Taylor, and it's going to have to be Politis gets hot. That's the only way they can win this game, is if Politis gets red hot from three. I think it can happen, and I'm going to take it to happen. This isn't my most confident pick, to be honest. I know I said I love them so much in the mid-major show and on the bracket show, but the more I've dived into this game, I'm a little concerned about Yale's defense and how they're going to be able to stop some of A&M's stuff going to the basket. If A&M settles for three, then Yale's going to have a great chance at winning this game. Give me Politis and the points, but I'm not super, super confident in it. Drake, Missouri. Missouri minus 6.5 in this game. It seems like everybody's penciling in Missouri or Drake to win this game. Missouri's not a bad team. Mark Mitchell, Caleb Grill, those guys, it's a solid team. What Dennis Gates has done in year 2 of this program is unbelievable. Drake plays the slowest pace in college basketball currently right now. I'm curious to see how that fares in the tournament. We saw what happened to San Diego State last night against Carolina, but Carolina is just knocking down shots. If Carolina shoots 13 of 20, they're beating just about anybody on that day. So there's that. I lean Drake here. I think 6.5 points is too many points. And that's why I think Drake's spread here is the play. If you like the money line, then by all means, rock on and go take it. But I'm leaning Drake with the points. How far in are we? We're about 14. We got to hurry. Let's blast through this thing. Utah State, UCLA. I have no play in this game. I have no idea what to do in this game. This feels like overtime to me. Just take overtime and have fun. Omaha, St. John's. Hopefully some trash cans don't get brutally assaulted in this building. Give me Omaha with the point, sneaky. I think St. John's comes out with a point to prove. I think the play here is Omaha first half, and then you live bet St. John's in the second half. St. John's has had a lot of trouble in the first halves of these games. They've come out slow, haven't been able to knock down shots. Then Rick Pitino says some horrendous things to these guys in the locker room, and all of a sudden St. John's wins by 400 points. So UC San Diego, Michigan. I think this is the most anticipated game of the day on Thursday. Michigan down to a 2.5 point favorite, over under 142.5. This is a matchup of, do you believe Danny Wolf and Vlad Golden are going to be too much for UC San Diego, where they can't combat that size, but at the guard position, UC San Diego can? The spread kind of tells you what's going to happen in this game, in my opinion. The fact, I know these are KenPom analytics, and that's where these spreads come from and everything. But the fact that this opened at 4.5 on some places, 4, and down to 2.5, I think that kind of tells you the story in this one. And I think Michigan's guards are going to be the downfall of them in March. I think Dusty May's an unbelievable coach. But I'm leaning UC San Diego here, and it's weirdly the chalk play at this point. Give me UC San Diego to win this game outright. Money line. UNCW, Texas Tech. Texas Tech minus 15.5, over under 142.5. Give me Texas Tech in this one. I think they're going to be able to crash the boards. I don't think UNCW offensively is going to have enough firepower to combat Texas Tech. And I think this is kind of one of the more boring games of the Thursday slate, where Texas Tech, you never really doubt they have this game in the bag. I think it's 8-9 the whole time, and then Texas Tech pulls away at the end. I like Texas Tech with the points here as well, minus 15.5. Let's move on. Let's go to Friday. Friday, starting off, we got Baylor, Mississippi State. Mississippi State minus 1.5, over under 144.5. I have no idea what to do with this game. Baylor, Mississippi State, I think, is the hardest game to pick on the board right now. I have no idea how to pick this game. You can say, okay, Baylor has better guards, but Mississippi State has Josh Hubbard, who can be a guy in this tournament to take over. But also, you're going against NBA guard VJ Edgecombe. Jeremy Roach has been there before. than Rob Wright, Norchad Amir, Scott Drew. I lean towards Baylor just because of the coaching and pure talent advantage there, but I feel terrible about taking either side in this game, to be honest. I have no play there. Robert Morris, Alabama minus 23.5, over under 165.5. I'm going, just take Alabama. I think this is a game Alabama just absolutely dominates and just runs up the score. Alabama typically loves to run up the score in these lesser games, and so the way they play, how fast they play, mid-major teams can't keep up with them. Alabama with the points. Lipscomb, Iowa State. Lipscomb's a live dog in people's eyes. Iowa State minus 14.5, over under 143.5. I lean Lipscomb with the points. I wouldn't take the money line. I'd lean Lipscomb with the points here. Iowa State, I understand Curtis Jones can be a flamethrower. Taron Lipsey is going to be back. Josh Jefferson, Momcilovic. They've got most of their guys. Keyshawn Gilbert out for the tournament. I think this is a game it's too risky to pick as an upset. But if Iowa State came out and looked a little shaky, I wouldn't be surprised at all in this spot. Give me Lipscomb with the points here. Colorado State, Memphis. Colorado State down to a 1.5 point favorite. It was 2.5. Over under 147.5. Give me Colorado State. The line is telling you everything you know in this game. I love Clifford. Medved is an excellent coach. And Tyrese Hunter's injury for Memphis has me way too concerned about this team. It's going to be the PJ Haggerty taking 400 shots in this game show. Duke versus nobody. Tough to pick. Vandy, St. Mary's. St. Mary's minus 3.5. Excuse me. Vandy is the play here. Vandy plus 3.5. I got it at plus 4.5 is the play here. I love Vanderbilt over St. Mary's in this game. St. Mary's obviously did very well in the WCC, won the WCC regular season, lost to Gonzaga in the title game. Vanderbilt is the better team here. Vanderbilt has the better coach, in my opinion, than Randy Bennett. St. Mary's has struggled mightily throughout March Madness. Vanderbilt, this is not your grandma's Vanderbilt. This team is legit. Mark Byington is a legit coach. I think Vanderbilt wins this game, and I think you're getting an awesome price here. I think St. Mary's being favored by 4.5 is solely comes down to KenPom analytics, and I don't believe in KenPom in this game, to be honest. I think Vanderbilt gets it done. North Carolina versus Ole Miss. We saw what North Carolina did last night to San Diego State. UNC minus 1.5 in this game. Line tells you everything. North Carolina is red hot. North Carolina matches up, honestly, very well with this Ole Miss team. RJ Davis is playing out of his mind right now. And look, I like guys like Sean Padula, Malik Dia, Jamin Brakefield. I like the pieces of Ole Miss. I think Ole Miss has the better coach in this game. But I think the way Carolina is playing right now combats everything Ole Miss wants to do. And Carolina needs to go against a team that's a little smaller at times. And Ole Miss is that team that's a little smaller, and Carolina can exploit that. Give me the Tar Heels minus 1.5 in this game. I think they went outright. Grand Canyon, Maryland. I think Maryland absolutely mollywops Grand Canyon. I think Grand Canyon, they play loose. I don't think Bryce Drew is that great of a coach. I think Maryland absolutely takes care of Grand Canyon in this spot. I don't think Grand Canyon has enough from beyond the arc. I think they rely too heavily on getting to the paint. And against this Maryland team, Grand Canyon's big thing is in the WAC. They have the more athletic players. They have the more talented guys. And a lot of their points are scored in the paint in WAC play. That's not going to be the case here against Maryland. I think Maryland absolutely dominates Grand Canyon. If Maryland loses this game, I'm going to be pissed, to be honest. But anyhow, let's move on. Norfolk State, Florida. Norfolk State in Raleigh, North Carolina. Very short drive for them. Shout out Norfolk State. I don't think a miracle happens in this one. Give me Florida. And you're talking about the points here with 28.5. Like I said, these 116s are just such a crapshoot. If I had to lean aside, you know what? Norfolk State, just because everybody's buying in on Florida. That's just a fade the public play. Troy, Kentucky minus 11.5, over under 152.5. Troy's head coach in this spot before this game in an interview talked about how much he loved Waffle House and how he was trying to recruit this kid, and he was like, "Oh, I don't like Waffle House" or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, that's why we didn't sign that kid." And then another kid came in, he goes, "Oh, y'all got Waffle House?" And they signed that kid, and he's on their team. The guys they want. I think there's good vibes around this Troy team. I think I like Troy with the spread here. I just think Kentucky has a little too much talent for Troy in the way Mark Pope and those guys play. I think they move on here. I don't think Kentucky makes the second weekend. I think Kentucky fans just want to win a game. I think Kentucky is just happy if they win a game and Calipari loses and Louisville loses. And all of a sudden, that's a great tournament for Kentucky, in my opinion. With the injuries they've had, they've gotten screwed this season, to be honest. Lamont Butler's playing. I just don't know if he can go for a full March Madness run. New Mexico, Marquette minus 3.5. I think this is another one of the I think this, with Baylor, Mississippi State, I think New Mexico, Marquette is also the toughest game on the board as well. I have no idea what to do in this game. If you have help, if you can help me in this game, DM me at KarterBA. I don't know what to do in this game whatsoever, or type in the comments what to do in New Mexico, Marquette. Akron, Arizona minus 14.5, over under 166.5. I think Arizona rolls in this game. I don't want to take the spread at all in this one. Both very high flying offenses. I just think Arizona's talent wins out in their physicality. But the problem is I'm not going to back an Arizona team with a high spread because Caleb Love can go 2 for 15 against anybody on any given day. And therefore, Arizona is always has a chance to get upset when Caleb Love is on the floor. Arizona also has a chance to beat anybody on any given day with Caleb Love on the floor. Stay away. Let's move on. Oklahoma, UConn. We got Oklahoma plus, or UConn minus 5.5. Over under 147.5. I don't care about the total in this game. Give me Oklahoma with the points. This is purely everybody and their grandma is picking UConn in this blindly. I bet 80% of brackets have UConn winning this game. In these 8-9 spots, it's just a better bet to fade the public here. I don't like either of these teams. I actually hate both of these teams. I was hoping to bet against both of these teams in this tournament, but the fact is that everybody's going to be betting UConn. I don't think UConn's a very good team whatsoever. I think Oklahoma has enough firepower to get it done over Dan Hurley and the Huskies. They go down in Raleigh. Illinois, it's the winner of Xavier, Texas today. Give me Illinois in that spot, but we don't have a number yet, so no point in talking about it. Last two games, Bryant, Michigan State. I'm going to link right here if you're watching. Go to J-Man. He was on the podcast. J-Man Takes. He does a lot of great film breakdowns and stuff. He picked this game on his show. Bryant, Michigan State. He likes Bryant with the points in this one. He thinks Bryant's a live dog. If he's saying that, I'm rocking with him. Go check that out. Bryant with the points plus 18.5. Liberty, Oregon. Liberty's going to score a bunch of points. Liberty's going to knock down a bunch of threes. Oregon's not going to be able to handle it. Liberty, money line. Liberty plus 7.5, over under 139.5. I lean over. Oregon size can be a problem for Liberty in this game, but I believe in the guards in March once again. All right, that does it for me today. We will be live. So this is recording Wednesday right now. We will be live Thursday night after the games, Friday night after the games, Saturday night after the games, Sunday night after the games, live on the KarterKast YouTube and Twitter. So come chat with us. We'll go through the slate, be about a 30, 40-minute podcast right after each night of games. So go check that out. We will be live on all our platforms, at KarterBA, at KarterKast on social media. Go follow, and let's have a March. Let's have the best month. It's the best time of the year. This is better than Christmas Eve. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm so excited. And also, join the KarterKast Bracket Group Challenge. If you're listening to this right now, the password is capital B, Bubba, Bubba, capital C, cheated, no space. It's capital C, or capital B, capital C, Bubba cheated. Go join the KarterKast Bracket Group Challenge. It's in the episode description below. Follow us on Twitter and Venmo at KarterBA if you want to be a part of that $5 buy-in. If you want to do a free one, go check out the Church Ball Pod one as well. So appreciate you guys. Love you guys so much. March Madness is here. Let's do this thing, and we will see you guys tomorrow night after the first round of March Madness games. We'll see y'all then. Adios. Bye-bye.